Hello everyone, this is me and Rahul. Today we are going to talk about the temporal database. First, what is temporal database? The temporal database stores data relating to time instances. It offers temporal data types and stores information relating to past, present, and future time. Also, the data records are never deleted and only new records can be inserted. Here's an example of temporal database. The movement of employees within an organization can be recorded into a temporal database, as can be seen in the table. From 1985 to 1990, Jun worked in the research department with a salary of $11,000, and from 1990 to 1993, he moved to sales department with the same salary. And from 1993 to now, he still works in the sales department, but his salary has increased to $12,000. If Jun has left the company, we don't delete his record, we just change his valid time end from infinite to the year he left the company, and we can keep his working record. The reason why we need temporal database is that the simple non-temporal database has many constraints. Conventional databases were only made to store strings of text and numbers, and they did not recognize the passage of time, so the time-based event could not be tracked from beginning to end. On the other hand, if a primary key or role name was associated with a date, then that primary key could be used over and over, which creates redundant data. In the lab's conventional database, it only records Jun's current department and salary, and we cannot see his previous department and salary record in this organization. So here are the features of temporal database. First, the temporal database records time period data type, which includes the ability to present time period with no end. Second, the temporal database can define valid and transition time period attributes and by temporal relations, which we are going to elaborate later. Third, the temporal database can maintain historical information so that we can curl the data at current time points in the past or future, or over durations. Lastly, the temporal database never deleted records. The administrator updates and deletes temporal records by splitting and coalescing of time periods.
So now let's talk about forms of temporal database. First form of temporal database is valid time. Valid time is the time for which a fact is true in the real world. A valid time period may be in the past or maybe the current time or occur in the future. For example, in a banking system, the payment and the withdrawal made by a customer have a valid time associated with the time the customer performs the transaction. Another example would be in a football competition when did the club won the competition. That's mean the time when Arsenal won the FA Cup competition. The second form of temporal database is the transaction time. Transaction time records the time period during which a database entry is accepted as correct. Transaction time period can only occur in the past or up to the current time. For example, in a banking system, the transaction time of a withdrawal would be from the time the clerk entered the payment of the withdrawal into database to the time that it was made invalid in the database. Another example would be a company situation where an employee receives a pay rise, but it comes into effect when the payroll clerk enters the salary rise into the database. Bitemporal relation. Bitemporal relationship contains both valid time and transaction time. This provides both historical as well as rollback information. Historical information is provided by valid time. For example, which department did John work in 1992? Rollback information is provided by transaction time. For example, in 1992, where did database believe John worked? Operators. Following are the temporal operators which are used to insert and extract data in temporal databases. In the following example, first we are storing the data by providing start time and end time. So in the example, we are storing area occupied by the farm from 1st January 1970 to 1st January 98. In order to extract the same data from the temporal database, we are using the following query where we provide the interval start time and the end time. Business areas of application. Some of the business areas of application are as follows. Data warehouses. Data warehouses are providing very useful as repository of valuable information gathered by data mining tools and used for knowledge discovery. The element of time is so crucial to many businesses, and it is in the database warehouses that the time dimensions can be stored and utilized in querying the data. Second type of business is the scientific laboratory. Each lab runs many tests and many versions of the same test, and each test often involves precise timing and sequence. In order that this information not to be lost, it should be stored in a temporal database. The third type of business is one which relies heavily on sales and marketing. Success in sales and marketing depends heavily on good timing. Forecasting information is better provided by a temporal database than by classical databases. So, like we conclude that today time dimension is very crucial to any business. So, having time business in their database benefits a lot of business areas today, and today temporal based databases are used in every domain of the business. Thank you.